Energy. It is all around us, both seen and unseen. It affects all the lives within humanity, our great planet Earth, and the entire universe. It is a conscious, cosmic matrix, an ever-evolving cycle, creating, breaking down, and recreating. This is Connected with your host, Andrea Dragonfly. Andrea tells us that energy is the foundation of our human experience, intrinsically affecting every facet of our lives, our perceptions, choices, and actions, as well as the challenges, opportunities, and people we attract. So now, please welcome the host of Connected, Andrea Dragonfly.
Hello, world. Welcome. Welcome to the first episode of Connected. I am your host, Andrea Dragonfly. There are no coincidences that this show is coming to you and the world at this time in humanity. At the very heart of the show, the core energy of the show, it's all about relationships with energy conscious relationships, right? And so we are energy. Energy is all around us. We are made of energy. It's both seen and unseen. And so we are these conscious energy beings having these relationships, right? With ourselves, with our significant people in our lives, our partners, our children, our friends, our community, our workforce, right? So there's a lot of energy exchange, and there's a lot of information here, a lot of information that we're not always kind of honed in on. And so we're going to begin to explore all of that. And energy, it affects everything living in humanity within this great planet Earth and within the cosmos. It is the foundation of our human experience. And again, it affects every facet of our lives. So yes, everything that we think, how we perceive, what we believe, and our actions, challenges, our breakdowns, difficulties, and then also our opportunities, and even the people that we attract into our lives. So if this is the first time ever seeing me, there are no coincidences. Energy has brought us together. And one of the things that we are going to dive into is that this is a show where we dive deep into the fact that everything is all connected. So the audience of the show spans across generations. It's multi-generational. So there's even our youth coming to the show that are in their teens, all the way up to people who have lived very long lives. It also spans over multiple cultures, multicultural. This is airing in over 140 countries. So there's going to be a lot of diversity here. And of course, there's all sorts of belief systems. So whether a person is not quite sure of what really exists out in the world, or somebody who's deeply devoted to God, or somebody who has a deep adverse reaction to the word God, or whatever path a person is walking, whether they're walking with Eastern philosophies or some of the other traditions that are available, it doesn't matter where we all are coming from, because what matters is that we're all connected. And each path, each place that a person is coming from is exactly the perfect place for us to all come together and have this conversation. This is a conversation for humanity, no matter where you are in humanity. So it's going to be a wonderful show. I feel very honored to be here and share this with you. And again, this is a conversation. So we're going to open up the live chat line midway through, and I would love to hear from you. So, any questions that come up between now and then, any curiosities, even just comments, all of that is welcome. And if you are watching through Facebook, it's through the BBT Bold Brave Television Facebook. And so you can also put your comments and your questions in the chat box, and we can get them over on this end too. And so I'm going to share a little bit with you about how I came to be your host here at Connected. So I was born naturally curious, and it's that curiosity that has really brought me through my life into this very moment here with you in the show. I had my first, I'm going to say, unusual experience. It was my first experience with energy consciousness when I was in the 3rd grade. And I remember standing in the back of the classroom, and I was putting an assignment away and grabbing another one. And I had this energy force kind of come into my body. It was almost like the wind blew right into me. And it said to me, question everything. That what you're being taught is only a part of the truth. And then it blew right on out of me. And in the 3rd grade, I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I was just like, what was that? Like, these are things that you don't learn about until you experience something, right? And looking around the classroom, nobody noticed. The teacher was off helping out another student. And I just remember that message, that question everything, that this is only a part of the truth, deeply imprinted in me. And as a naturally curious person anyway, that was pretty easy. I grew up in a Roman Catholic environment, a community. I went to a Catholic grade school, and I went to an all-girls private Catholic high school. So questioning, there was a lot for me to question. There was things that didn't make sense to me. And even beginning with like the dinosaurs, I remember asking the priest one time and saying, but there's dinosaurs and we can see their bones. We know they exist. How does this faith talk about that? Of course, I didn't use those words, but it was along those lines. And I remember him saying, you just have to have faith. When we're young like that, we don't really know what that means. And it's like, faith, this doesn't make sense. And another piece that was really important for my childhood was that growing up in a Catholic environment, now this is my experience and everybody has theirs, right? But in this experience, I remember being taught about the Bible and about how all of the big figures in the Bible were men, and that the only women that were really being talked about were the Virgin Mary Mother, and also Mary Magdalene, the prostitute. And that's how she was described in my upbringing. At least that's how I'm very connected to that memory. And of course, growing up at, where in the 80s, I'm going to age myself here, there was also like playing in that she was the whore. And so as a young girl and looking at these two very extremes, it's like, where is the regular woman? Why isn't the regular woman being talked about or even being kind of like a significant part of this belief system? So it really left a lot of gaps for me. And then when I got into my high school years, I kind of became a little bit of a rebel. If this wasn't the truth and it was only part of the truth, then what was the truth? And so when my friends were all getting ready for college, I knew that I needed to go out into the world and find the truth. And just like how I mentioned that energy force that blew into me into the 3rd grade, if I look back at my life, I see that same energy force guided me. It guided me to the places, to the people, and to the information. And now I know exactly what that energy force was and is still with me today. And at first I was like some sort of guide, but it's really an angel that was guiding me all along the way. And so when I got out into the world, I was 19 years old when I came upon the Renaissance festivals. And for those who don't know what a Renaissance festival is, because this is, not just within the United States, it's a community of people who are artists, and they make handmade wares that could also have been sold 500 years ago during the Renaissance era. And so just nice handmade quality, goods. But they also are a subculture, a culture that wasn't living within the dominant American culture. And it was also a culture that was connected to earth-centered spirituality. And it was the first time I came into meeting that, getting connected into that. And it was like, oh, yes, there's something here. It really began to fill me in a way because it also brought forward the feminine, the sacred feminine, and the divine feminine, which was missing within my original Christian faith. And there was this light that kind of perked up inside of me that said, there's something here. There's a truth here, and I want to know more about it. And at the same time, I was meeting peers, wonderful different people from all walks of life. And some of them were working with the First Nations Indigenous Lakota Sioux up in the Badlands of South Dakota. And one of them was initiated to be a water pourer who could lead Sweat Lodge. And then, they were doing Sundance, and they were sharing the stories and the cosmology of the people. And it was like, this is the first time I'm starting to learn about Father Sky, Mother Earth. And there was a yes in me, a big yes that was like, there's something here. I want to know more. I want to learn more about this. And then about a year later, I had a trauma. And this will come later in the show. I had a trauma where I experienced something called a soul loss. And this might be a new word for many of you. But within that soul loss, I knew I needed to find somebody. And I had done research, and I knew I needed to find a shaman. And shortly thereafter, I found a woman, a beautiful woman who knew the way of soul retrieval. She came from the Din, the Navajo Nation, and that she had agreed that she would do a soul retrieval for me. And in the process of preparing for a soul retrieval, she opened up the cosmos to me and connected me deep into something that I had never known before. And in that moment, I knew this is my path, as if the path had this red carpet and just rolled it right out in front of me. And from that moment, that angel guided me to the different people, the different places where I was going to gather the information that was going to bring me my truths. And these are my truths. And I'm inviting you all to find your own truths in your life. And so this is a conversation so that in every walk of my life, I had to take in information and see, is this information right? Is this true? How does it feel? And when it would illuminate in me, it would be like, oh yeah, there's something here. And I would become impassioned, like, yes, this feels right. This feels good. There's something really true about this. And again, my truths are ever growing. And we're going to talk about this in this next segment here. However, within that, one of the things that came about is that I had family members and friends that were concerned because I was no longer walking the Catholic path. And I was coming into earth-centered spirituality. I was coming into the divine feminine. And in this place, I kind of swung over to really kind of absorb that divine feminine. But really what came out of it, it was the unity of the divine feminine, the unity of the divine masculine, and the creation of the two. Which then, of course, within different religions and belief systems is that Christos Christ creation, which became a very powerful energy. And so some people were worried that I was going to be worshiping Satan and coming into evil and all that kind of stuff. And no, not at all. It actually became quite liberating. And it's through this energy work and through learning that consciousness lives all around us. It's not just up in the sky. It's in the earth. It's in the plants and the trees and everything around us that can inform us, communicate with us, talk with us. And it was very much the opposite of all of that. And it's this type of energy that we can use to liberate ourselves in any part of our life, wherever we are, whatever our jobs, whatever our paths, whatever our communities are. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break, and we're going to get back and dive into truth and finding our own. So I'll see you in 2.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back. So we are living in unprecedented times. There has been no time like humanity than there is right now. And with the advent of the technological revolution, things have sped up. And we even know that just by knowing what level our cell phones are these days, right? Like what, model it is. And so technology is rapidly moving us. And because we're a multicultural and multi-generational community, trying to hold on, even the youth, this is what is becoming their baseline knowing of the world. This is their generation that says, oh, this is normal, this is natural. But for the rest of us who've been around for a little bit, right? This is like, oh, wow, how do I keep up? Many of us, I know that there's many of you out there that know how to keep up, but it's definitely a time where there's so much changing. And we also are coming into these places where, with the advancements of technology and even AI is coming in, and AI has some great benefits for humanity, but it's also taking away jobs, livelihoods, and people's ability to really thrive in their life. So with some of these advancements, we get some good here, but we're also going to be getting a lot more stress, a lot more fear, a lot more of these other energetics that kind of create a whole nother level of energy in the world. Even looking at cutting edge sciences and so much that's happening with that, right? And that, there's going to be some things that are incredibly beneficial for humanity, but sometimes things are going to be pushing ethics as to, oh gosh, what is that going to do for us in our future, right? People we already know this with cloning, we already know this with what's coming out and being able to, tap into technologies that can help our bodies move again, right? And so I'm not speaking to this very clearly, but but also we're just looking at the fact that there are, there's a lot of things that are coming at us in very fast paces. And so just trying to keep up is kind of a big deal. We're also looking at politics. And for us in the United States, this is a political year. And with politics, there tends to be a lot of division of the people. And this is something that we're going to be looking at on an energetic level. This is not a political show. There's no one side over the other, but it's really looking at what is the energies that live behind some of these things. And even with our schools and our children, it feels like, as a parent, it's very scary to send your children off to school, which would be a safe zone, right? Normally this is a safe zone, but at any time, some crazy person can walk in and make it really unsafe. And of course, this is all around the world. There's so many things that are happening. There's wars that are happening. There's just innumerable things that are coming out and coming at us. And we're at a time where information cannot be trusted. We're at this place where we're in an information war. And we've known this for at least a decade. And some say that the information war started in the early 20th century. And historians even said, that the roots of the information war began in either the 18th and 19th centuries. And so information, what can be trusted? Information is often used for another person's advantage. There's a lot of half-truths, partial truths, where we're going to give you this truth, but then there might be this other information that's hidden. And then, of course, it's going to be spun to be like, oh, this is great. But it's really about who is it benefiting? Is it benefiting a small group of individuals, or is it benefiting humanity, right? The majority of individuals. And so this is a conversation about how can we really tap into truth at a time where it is absolutely difficult to know what is true. So I'm going to invite you to tap into your truth. This is where we go inside ourselves and we go in to say, what is real for me? This is the real truth. And this is where we can begin to feel into, is this right? Is this not right? And so you have your own intuition. You also have maybe your own code of ethics, standards in which you live and operate by. When we go into our bodies, we go into these energy fields that are connected. Our physical bodies are these little micro universes that are connected to the macro universe, the macroverse. And so what is happening out in the universe is exactly also connected to what's happening within ourselves. So we are also creators. The universe is full of creation, and we're one of those creations. And within that creation, we are creators as well. And so when we can tap into the energy that lives within us, there's information there that we don't know exists. And so this is an opportunity for us to begin to explore that energy, to know more about ourselves and what is it that really feels right for us. And so when it comes to finding truths, this is an exploration. It's a journey. It's what feels right for you. So what I've come to learn along my path of truth seeking is that when I hit a truth that really feels right, there's going to be a sensation that kind of lights me up. And with information, there's a lot of things. There's partial truths. There's all sorts of things. So this is about beginning to really tap into that, to say, okay, I can get behind this. This feels right, but this doesn't necessarily feel right. And as a truth seeker, I've had many, many, many conversations. I'm a bit of a philosopher. I love to talk to people. I love to find out what they believe and connect into them and understand. And so one of the things that I know also is that everybody is connected to their truth and what they believe is right. And yeah, right? Who doesn't want to believe that? Like what I know and what I believe is right. And I want to say that for the most part, this is our baseline of being human. This is the baseline energy. And so I'd like to invite the stretching of our rightness, because if you are right, I'm going to say that yes, you're right. Absolutely. You're connected to something. And within my experience, it's about how can you share with me what you know is to be true so that I can try it on myself, feel into it and say, does this feel right for me? As a truth seeker, I know that we are evolving beings. So our truths are true for us right now. And sometimes that right now can be a whole lifetime, for sure. And because maybe we're not talking and we're not looking to expand it, because we're not really conscious of that, right? We're just like living our lives, doing our thing. These are my truths. I'm going to live with that. And then when we get confronted with other people's truths that are different than our own, we can have sometimes a reaction, and we can be like, oh, we don't believe the same thing. But it's an invitation to say, okay, well, maybe you have a piece to the puzzle. I like to see truth as all these puzzle pieces that everybody has a version of it. We're all holding different pieces to a greater truth. And because we are not fully in the know of everything and how the universe operates, we're going to be evolving this as we grow. Every year, every time we have a birthday, we're not the same person we were the year before. We've had 365 days to move us forward, connecting us to new information that shifts and changes us. So this is a conversation of being able to share truths and to try things on. I want to bring a whole bunch of things of wisdom that I've collected throughout my life to the table to try on. And you get to choose whether this feels right for you or it doesn't. This is a choose your own adventure kind of show. And it's an adventure for humanity at this time, because we are at these unprecedented times. Things are changing. And the truth of things that have been hidden for a long time want to bubble up. They want to be known. Energy consciousness wants to be known. It wants to create a relationship with you. If you want that for you, and you don't have to have that for you, this is your free will, freedom. But knowing that it exists and knowing that it's available for you can be liberating. It can move us out of these places of stuckness. It can move us out of separation into the fact that we are never alone. Even if we're physically alone, we're never alone when we begin to connect into all the other energies around us. So it's a very powerful shift when we can move ourselves into these different places. Now, again, coming back to truth and sharing truth and trying things on. Sometimes we might need to sit with something for a little bit and be like, how do I feel about that? Sometimes we're like, no, that does not feel right. It doesn't resonate. And then, a month later or a year later, or even 5 years later, you're like, you know what? That kind of worked me a little bit. And I'm starting to feel into the fact that maybe there's some truth there. Now, I'm not here in any way to tell you what's true. I connected to what I believe is to be true, but my truths are not going to be your truths. We may share many truths together, but because we're our own little micro universe within us, every one of us is going to experience it differently. No two people are going to experience anything the same way. Even if we're all together, even in a class getting a lecture and getting information, each one of us is a very unique combination of energy. I'm going to use energy alchemy, where it's alchemized. We're going to have all the different emotions that can exist within humanity. And some of them are very much activated, and many of them aren't. right? So some people who are like, well, I'm not a very emotional person. So, but when we talk about that, well, what does that mean? What are the qualities and whatnot within those emotions that might be, activated or might be kind of turned off? And so within this, we look to see what's going on in me. How am I my unique masterpiece? I had a dear friend tell me about what it means to be a masterpiece. And we all are a masterpiece, so unique, so different, so that what is right for one person may not be right, but it's an opportunity for us to try on and expand. And when we expand, we connect. We connect into more. It's like that puzzle piece. If I can see that I got this nice, picture happening, and then somebody else brings in more pieces to this puzzle, it begins to expand and connects into deeper and more powerful places to explore. So again, this is about you tapping into your inner truth. What is true for you? Now, we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break, but when we get back, we're going to open up the live chat. So you are welcome to call in and ask any questions, any curiosities, anything about what the show is going to be about. I encourage your voices to be heard. Would love to hear from you. And I do believe that when you call in, if you can mute whatever device you're on, I think that's going to be helpful. So we'll take this commercial and see you back here in 2.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Hi, welcome back. So yes, the number is at the bottom of the screen. You are welcome to call in. Love to hear your voices. Don't be shy. Oftentimes we have questions that many other people have questions as well, and they're not wanting to be the one to call in. But I just want to encourage you that your voices are definitely welcome here. So I would love to hear from you. And while we're waiting for callers, if we even get any callers, which is fine, returning back just to our truths. And again, within my background, within my share of my story of how I've come to be here with you, I am just one of 8.1 billion people on the planet. And this is something that I've come to that also where I know that we're all connected and that what I'm bringing is for everybody. It's not, I'm trying to convince you of one thing or another. This is just a conversation for all of us to stretch ourselves. Because the world is changing, so much is changing with it. And how we think, what we believe, how we perceive is being asked to kind of upgrade with the rest of the world. And so if we're really attached to the way that life is, and if you have a great life, of course, there's don't fix it, if it's not broken. However, what I do know is that being that we are these energy beings, these conscious beings, that so much of the world can affect us. And so when we can really begin to expand and widen our perspective, begin to see that there's other information that is available for us that we're going to be discussing this whole year. We can begin to really deepen into the fact that we can find personal empowerment in that no matter where we are in our life, what our occupation is, what our goal, our mission, our purpose is to be, is that this is a conversation for everybody. And that stretching into some of these ideas can be very new. And they're very different. I want to say that this is going to be a different conversation. There's a lot of information that we are not talking about that is available to us, that we can definitely connect in. And that when we start to connect with other people, this can also be that place where we unify, even in our differences. This is instead of separating further and further away from one another in all of these different little pockets and niches, is where we can celebrate the diversity of humanity, that we can allow each other to be who they are, and that even if they're doing things that we do not agree with, that we can learn how we can take our own power back within our energy. That when we are communicating with other people and they are getting upset or reactive or whatever, we can really understand what might be happening behind all of that energy. And if we can come at it, and it's an invitation, if we can come at it in a place that is non-attached, because it's usually not about you. We project a lot of stuff onto other people. So if somebody's projecting something onto you, really may not be about you at all. And so recognizing, instead of being like, oh, that person was yelling at me or taking it out on me, to recognize, oh, there might be so many things happening for that person. What's going on in their energy? Really didn't have anything to do with me. I didn't do anything for that, to that person. And so it can allow us to really kind of shift into these places that also can bring out more compassion. One of the things that I think that the world is kind of going down this trajectory is that we become desensitized and overwhelmed with so much information that's kind of coming at us, that we just sort of like kind of walling ourselves off, almost like having these protection shields that say, yes, I can't handle it right now. And if you come at me, I'm going to bark right back at you, because my energy is getting, is chaotic as well. And so within those places is that point, that place where we can deepen into compassion. And to have compassion, we have to first have compassion with ourselves. And one of the big things about growing humanity forward, we're all in this together. If we want to have a beautiful world for ourselves, for our children, for our children's children, for all, then part of it is that we are being asked to step forward and be that. Be the better world, make those choices that are going to inspire others to make good choices as well, right? That are going to be in that place that says, hey, you know what? I really like how that person holds themselves. I really like how that person sees the world. I'm drawn to that. I want to know more about that. I want to know how I can be in this crazy world right now and not be completely at the effect of it, right? And so it's about really looking at our ability to shift ourselves with the world around us, with the external, energies coming at us. So it's a definitely different time from 20 years ago. We got to think back about history and about just when life was peaceful and easy and the technological revolution hadn't happened yet. And, people are just doing their thing. And now we're in this race. And sometimes we feel like we can't keep up, or at least I'm going to speak for myself, and maybe you feel that way as well. But I also know that I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can keep up with what's going on over here. And I also energetically for myself is that I limit myself to how much energy comes at me. And when I do this, it allows me to continue to have a certain level of peace, of ease, of flow within me. So if I'm hanging out watching the news all the time, or listening to all the different things, the debates, all the different information that's coming at me, not knowing if this information is true, how it's going to be true, or what part of that is true, is that, just allowing myself to have that peace, that ease, that flow, disconnecting even from all of the inundated energies that are coming at me. And so what are practices that we can all do that works for each and every one of you? Again, there's 8.1 billion people on the planet. And I just looked that up recently. And in 2040, it's projected that there's going to be 10 billion people on the planet. And so that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of energy beings. And there's a lot of energy consciousness. So when we can really work with that energy consciousness and how to connect, how to relate, how to navigate these experiences, we can really find a whole new way to live our lives that is not, at the effect of whatever's coming our way. Now, again, I encourage any callers. We only have about 6 minutes left for any calls, questions, comments, curiosities. Definitely invite that to come on in. And talking about inner truth and how we all have it and how it's all connected, and that we are these energy beings, unique, and that there's not going to be any two of us alike. And how when we share information, we're all sharing it to say, what is it for me? What can I get out of it? How does that land for me? Is there something here? Because we're the center of our little microverse, right? And in that process, how can we also take and expand with that? And there's going to be some stretching. We're going to be talking about soul stretching. And so just taking it in, allowing it to fill you and say, yeah, what might be right about this? And even if this is like the concept, let's say that this is the conversation, and the conversation really kind of invokes some sort of energy in you, but it's something like way over here that's not this, that is a very helpful piece of information that can help you understand more about yourself, more about what's happening within you, right? And so as we come together in humanity, being asked to really step up, being asked to kind of sort of be like, how do we want the world to go? We don't have to be at the effect of what the world tells us. This is also the difference between fate and destiny. And when we look at fate carries us to where we go, as if the fate is driving the train. So when we're born, we come into this world. And if we don't really do anything, we let the world just happen, then our lives become fated. It's just like, okay, I did this, I did that, and then this becomes my fated life. And then destiny is where we actually choose. We choose how we want it to go. And of course we get to choose where we, what kind of career we want, if we want to go to college, what kind of area of study. But now we're even looking at how do we choose to shift the energy of the world? Come together in a collective energy for great change, for the good of humanity, for the personal empowerment of humanity, for the free will and freedom that we all deeply desire. Nobody wants oppression. Nobody wants to be told what to do. Of course, we have guidelines that'll carry us. But within those places, it's about, us really being able to choose our lives and then begin to choose how we want to feel about that. Do I want to be like, oh, I'm carrying this role, this burden? And we're going to definitely dive into the energies behind the have tos. What have we been told that we have to do, right, in life? And many of our truths come from these places that we've been told were true. So it's also trying on what I've been told throughout my life. Is it really true? How true is that? Because oftentimes we're told things, and sometimes we're told truths because they are ways to keep people safe. Now, I want to just dive into that for a second, because the way we see truth is so individual that it also starts within our childhood. It starts within our own environments. If we were born into a very kind of safe family where we could explore and we had the love of a mother and the love of a father and community and we felt safe, then when we come into the world, we're going to experience the world as a level of, safety, and that we can be strong and we can choose and that we feel safe in all those areas. But if we're born into another environment where it's not safe, where mom couldn't be trusted and mom wasn't safe or dad wasn't safe, or we're born in a war zone where the environment around us wasn't safe, then when we come into the world, our truth at that time, of course this is in the now, is that the world isn't safe. And so it's really about our lens of life. What have we been exposed to that develops these truths? And if we're exposed to this is what you need to do in life to have a good life, and that's all, then that's one of your truths. But if you're exposed to the fact that you get to create your life, you get to move it forward, you get to allow, you get to let go of some of the baggage you've been carrying along the way, of these old truths that are not really true for you anymore. And you can create whatever you want for yourself. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to take another 2-minute break. Our time for call-ins is over. So I'll see you in 2.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so if you do have any comments, questions, concerns, curiosities between now and next week, I definitely encourage you to go to the Connected Facebook and Instagram at connected.dragonfly, and that goes directly to me. You can also go to my website, which is www.andreadragonfly.com, and you can leave any of that there. It would be great to interact with you and see what's kind of coming up for you, and just get some interaction going. Now, within the last bit of our show, the last minutes of our time together, we have looked at discovering and kind of connecting into our inner truth. And so that's definitely what this first show is all about. This definitely is all about your truth and what is going to resonate for you. And so I'm going to invite all of you, all of the viewers, to actually I'm going to invite all of you to who wants to come, right? Because it's free will. If you'd like to take the invitation or not, is completely your free will. And so I'm inviting us all to take in to getting fumbled on my words here. Sorry. There's a tool that I would like to share with you. And so this is a tool, and if you want to try it on now, or you can even come back to the recording and listen to this part of it later, I encourage you to explore with this. So this is a tool that helps us, and it will take a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and say, those who want to join, I invite you to close your eyes and tap into your inner truth. Tap into your energy field. And just feel the energy that lives within you. Now, this tool I'm inviting you to do is feeling into your energy body. Ask your body, because your body has consciousness. Ask your body, show me in my body a sensation that is my yes. And in doing this, some of you may know this practice already, but this is a practice that is going to help us actually find truth along the way. And it's a practice that we're going to need to work with. It's a practice, right? So asking your body again, body, show me a sensation that is my yes. And take note, where does that sensation live in your body? Just feel that. And then also ask your body, show me neutral. Body, bring me back to my baseline energy. Just feel that energy kind of wash. And this is a practice again. And now ask your body, show me a sensation that is my no. And feel that again. Where does that live in your body? Ask your body again, body, show me a sensation that is my no. And notice that it's in a different place in your body. And if you're not getting it right now, again, this is a practice. Play with this. This is an invitation to bring it into the week. Bring it in, because you might also get other kinds of sensations. So when you start to practice and you ask this over and over and over again, you'll begin to get a consistent yes and a consistent no. And whether you get that right now, great. Most people won't. Most people will take, a little bit of time for that to really develop within them. But this is something that we can ask yes and no questions to. Is this right for me at this time? And then asking your body, because our body, again, is connected to this conscious energy all around us. And it knows truth when it connects in. This is about also learning about trust and trusting ourselves, but also we have to practice. We have to build a trust within ourselves even. And then also we might get mixed messages. We might get something that's completely different. So again, it's this process, a process that allows us to develop our own inner truths in a relationship with ourselves. And we can use this for any yes or no. Even if you're going, let's say you want to buy like a supplement, right? And in that supplement, you hold that supplement and whatever that supplement might be, right? I'm going to use acidophilus, for example. And you can bring that supplement to your body. I usually bring it to my heart, but you get to choose where you want to bring it. And you can ask your body, is this supplement the right supplement for me? And to see what your body then, if your body connects to it, because the supplements are also energy. And every different distributor has a different way that they process it, that they work with it. And of course, when we have a whole bunch of acidophilus in front of us, we can take a few of the ones that feel maybe right for us. And we can ask those questions. And this is how we can play. Now, this is just with a supplement. We can do this with any kind of yes or no questions about investing, right? So we can begin to build these relationships within ourselves. Is this a good investment for me at this time? Right. So this is something to play with. And we are, and we're going to explore a little bit more about this. We are wrapping up the end of our time together. It has absolutely been a pleasure. It's been an honor to be able to start this conversation with you. Again, if there's anything that you would like to say, reach out, questions, comments, curiosities, you can reach me at Instagram and Facebook at connected.dragonfly or my website, www.andreadragonfly.com. But I really look forward to deepening our connection as we continue this conversation week by week even. And also it's just a place where we can, really tap into what are we connected to? I'm going to try it on. Does this work for me? Because this is a conversation for all humanity. Wherever you are, whatever walk in life, whatever path you're on. And so this is an opportunity to say, where am I connected? And where can I actually expand that connection? Get more information, more liberation. So with that, it's been an absolute pleasure. Be well. I'll see you next week.
This has been Connected with your host, Andrea Dragonfly. Join Andrea each week on an extraordinary journey, exploring the consciousness of energy and how you are connected. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.